They looked at their titles and they looked at, frankly, PR. And if they patch in the kids, it's more days that Letitia James can go out there and speak. It's more press for her, and it's more of an impact. Radical left liberals don't really care about facts. They don't care about law. They care about making statements. And these kids did nothing wrong. They should not be in this case. Ivanka's already out of the case. The boys should not be in the case. Their testimony was direct. And they just want to make it as if there was some sort of corruption and some sort of conspiracy. There was none. There was an accounting firm, there were lawyers, and there were sophisticated lenders that all did their job, and nobody got harmed. Yeah. But Miss James wanted a headline. She campaigned on this, remember, before she was even the Attorney General. That's how she got the Attorney General role. Yeah. She campaigned on Trump, so she had to follow through. And she should really dismiss this case.
That is Donald Trump's lawyer, Alina Habba. I suppose that's what her job is. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. And there she is referring to Eric Trump and Don Jr. as, quote, the kids and the boys. She's coming after the little kids and the boys. You know, when we covered the testimony of Donald Trump last week in the New York Attorney General civil fraud case, when Donald Trump was asked about Don Jr. and Eric, he referred to them as his little boys. The little boys, they're very trustworthy, the little boys. I mean, it's just very bizarre behavior right there. And as you listen to Alina Habba and as you listen to Eric and as you listen to Don Jr., let's just face the facts, folks, that this is not the way people who are not liable for civil fraud behave, and this is not normal behavior. By the way, here is a way that is part of the same interview with Fox on the morning shows on Sunday that they tried to go after the judge's law clerk by basically planting a question. I wonder, by the way, knowing that this is a planted question that Maria Bartiromo was asking, if this would constitute a violation of the gag order by having a reporter bring up the potential for a violation of the gag order as a way of just gaslighting the judge and the judge's law clerk. Play this clip.
You have been complaining about the judge's clerk, and you say that the judge is compromised and the clerk appears compromised. Tell me why.
Well, I actually can't tell you why because I'm gagged.
Right.
I can tell you that, we'll be filing papers to address all of those issues. And the fact that, frankly, Maria, I can't even discuss it with you, and I'm his spokeswoman, I'm his attorney, says a lot about what the judicial system, the state of our judicial system right now.
I think I did see that there were donations that the clerk had given, very supportive to the Democrats. That was one issue. Are you going to file to get a mistrial?
Yes.
When will you do that? Today?
Soon.
Yeah.
Very soon.
You know, and as I've said, folks, and you've probably heard the expression, when the law's not on your side, argue the facts. When the facts are not on your side, well, if you're a Trump, apparently attack the judge's principal law clerk. I can't even just tell you as a lawyer what bizarre behavior that is for them to engage in this conduct. But then again, as I reflect on her calling Eric a boy and kids and Don Jr. a kid and boy, here is Eric from the weekend shows, and here Eric's response when having to discuss the New York Attorney General civil fraud case is by calling New York City dirty and saying the city is dirty. Play this clip.
The city's dirty. The homelessness is crazy. And yet you have the Attorney General of one of the largest states in the nation, second or third right now, that sits in a courthouse every single day that will parade Don, myself, Ivanka in, when universally everybody's testified to the fact that we had nothing to do with statements of financial condition. Now, I think the statement of financial condition is actually low. I think there's a tremendous amount of value that's frankly left off those statements, and I'll certainly testify about that. But why does she bring Don into it? Why does she bring Ivanka into it, or me, when Michael Cohen and everybody else said we had nothing to do with the statement of financial condition? Because she gets to sit in that damn courtroom in front of the cameras.
Yeah, and that was Eric. And here, by the way, is Donald Trump from his event, his traveling fascist circus rally, whatever you want to call it. This was in New Hampshire. This was the same event where he believed Obama was still the president. This is the same event where he praised Viktor Orban. But here he is saying that he has been indicted by the New York Attorney General in the civil fraud case. This is a civil case. I know he may be confusing all of the indictments and criminality, but this is a civil case, not a criminal case. But watch Donald Trump say that he's now been indicted in the civil fraud case in New York. Play the clip.
He says, how can it happen? They got me in New York, where my company turned out to be a great company instead of a bad company. They indicted me because they said I inflated numbers, and my numbers, it turned out, were extremely conservative, just the opposite of what. And now they don't know what to do. And the judge is being made to look, he's a radical left person, and he actually accused me of something before the trial started. And now it's sort of coming home to play. We'll see what happens, but it's a disgrace.
Oh, and by the way, I'll have to show you the other clip right here. Here is where Donald Trump thinks that Obama is still in office. Here, play this clip.
The head of Hungary, a very tough, strong guy, Viktor Orban. Did anybody ever hear of him? Probably, considered very powerful within his country and outside of his country. Not exactly loved by some of the European nations because he does his thing. He didn't allow millions of people to invade his country. He allowed nobody to invade. Zero. He had nobody. So he doesn't have crime, and he doesn't have the problems that they're having in other countries where millions of people are allowed to go in. But they were interviewing him 2 weeks ago, and they said, what would you advise President Obama? The whole world seems to be exploding and imploding. And he said, it's very simple. He should immediately resign, and they should replace him with President Trump, who kept the world safe. And I'm not just talking the United States. China respected him. Russia respected him. North Korea respected him. And he used another word other than respect, who he said fear. But I don't want to use that word.
When I showed you those clips at the outset of Alina Habba, here she is, right? This was after Trump testified, where she was out there basically saying, the judge yelled at me. The judge told me to sit down. Wah, wah, wah. Here, play this clip.
You have a right to hire a lawyer who can stand up and say something when they see something wrong. But I was told to sit down today. I was yelled at, and I've had a judge who is unhinged slamming a table. Let me be very clear. I don't tolerate that in my life. I'm not going to tolerate it here. And you know what? You shouldn't either.
And here's the thing, Alina Habba. You have every right to ask Donald Trump questions, and on direct exam, you can do that. You had the opportunity after cross-exam to conduct direct examination of Donald Trump, where you could have asked any question that you wanted to ask, but you chose not to. You could recall Donald Trump as a witness in your case, but the purpose of cross-examination in trials across the country, the judges don't allow people just to speak and say whatever it is that they want to say. They have to answer the questions. And here's the thing that Judge Engoron said. Judge Engoron says, I'm not here to listen to him speak. I'm here to listen to him answer questions. That's the way trials work. And so what was the response of Alina Habba, Donald Trump, and everyone? And this just goes to show you how disingenuous they are in everything. Their response is to say, the judge said that we're not here to listen to Donald Trump speak. And that's all they said. They don't show the other part where Judge Engoron says we are here to listen to his answers, because they're not ever being factually honest. And if they wanted to say, hey, we thought it was inappropriate that the judge said we're not here to listen to him speak, we're here to listen to his answers, and they were to say that shows bias, I don't think that shows bias at all. At least they're talking about the facts of what went down. And similarly, when they talk about Mar-a-Lago and they say the valuation of Mar-a-Lago was, that the judge decided, was $18 to $27 million. Again, that's not accurate. And it's like, let's just have an honest conversation, because I think that there's a world where one can argue that if Mar-a-Lago was a residential property, not a club, not have all these encumbrances put on it by the Trump organization saying for commercial use, not intentionally devalued. I think there's a world where Mar-a-Lago honestly can be valued at $150 million to $250 million. It's an old property. It's rusty and starting to look like, or has for a while, looked like it's decaying, but it's a very nice piece of property by the water. So I could see if it was a residential property, you could argue it's $150 million to $250 million. Certainly not $1.5 billion that Donald Trump says it is. But here's the thing. It wasn't the judge who devalued the property. It was Trump who devalued the property, who put deeds and easements on it, executed a deed saying that he intends to forever use the property for commercial use as a club only. And on that basis, the valuation of the property was taken down to about 27 million or less, and he paid less property taxes on it. That's the issue. And then he went to lenders and said that the property was worth substantially more than even the highest valuations that one can give it, and then got extra advantages and benefits for that. So when the judge is saying, here are the undisputed facts, the judge is saying, look, you claim the triplex is 30,000 square feet, it's 10,000 square feet. You claim that Mar-a-Lago was only for commercial use, but then you got loans where you claimed it was residential. Here's another one of your properties where you ignored rent control. Here's just undisputed facts right there. And so there you have it. And by the way, here's what Alina Habba has to say, because it's all projection and confession. And here she says, the New York Attorney General just wants PR. Play this clip.
There's so much that I don't think we could finish my block with going through it. This is a woman who taunted the president but likes to act like she's the victim. She comes out only when there's a Trump affiliate child, or to her, someone who's a C-suite top person. Otherwise, she's not interested in trial. She's never sat at the desk with me. She's never fought it. She's never objected. She's not practicing law. She's just simply there for PR.
No, Alina, you're the one who just wants PR, and it's just shameful stuff. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 2 million subscribers. Thanks to your support, and have a great day.
At MeidasTouch, we are unapologetically pro-democracy, and we demand justice and accountability. That's why we're spreading our message to Convict 45. That's right, gear up right now with your Convict 45 tees and pins at store.meidastouch.com. That's store.meidastouch.com.